That's I've only been around him a few times, not too often, but it gets brought up every time that we're around one another. And he's, I could see why he hasn't gotten over. One of my ex-teammates, Charles Woodson, we've been together probably more than that, and he and I have hashed it out. And that was just an unbelievable game, and I still see it today, and it's it's a great part of my football history, and it's probably a very sour part of their football history, but that's the way it goes. It's the same. We had that in 07 when we played against the Giants, where in the Super Bowl, and 11 and 17, and it's just one team wins and one team loses, and it's a fluke call, or one ball bounces your way or one goes the opposite way. But that was I'll always feel I have some type of strong feeling or emotion toward the Raiders. So I played them a few times since, and they got a great history of football players. Al Davis, just one of the pioneers, of in the history of the NFL. And whenever you play them, you always kind of feel that. I remember we used to go to the old Oakland Coliseum, and you sit down, you look at that guide, and it shows you all the different players they've had and their contributions to the NFL. And it's pretty neat playing against them. So they've moved on to a different place, but they're still the Raiders, and they're having a hell of a season. They got a lot of talented players. So it's going to be a tough, hard-nosed game. They're obviously well coached, got a great staff. I think got a great quarterback, and they got a good offense, good running back, good tight end. A lot of speed at receiver. They got really good young defense, good guys in the secondary, really athletic guys, at linebacker, and they and a lot of high motor guys at defensive line. So it's a really good football team, and we got our work cut out for us, and we got to play better on the road. I think that's something that's a big point of emphasis for us.
Next will be Greg Allman.
Hey, Tom, we talked a lot in summer and preseason about how important it was for the line to protect you, keep you upright, keep you healthy. You've been sacked 8 times total in 6 games. So just want to ask you how well the line has played as a whole, and how much you can help that just by kind of being smart and not holding on to the ball too long, knowing what's happening around you.
I think they're doing a great job. I mean, I got so much trust in Donnie and Cap and Allie and Ryan and Tristan and what they've done as a unit, and their coach. They got a great coach. Goody's a hell of a O-line coach. I think they're really the ability for them to play together and consistently like they have. There are a lot of tough guys that take a lot of pride in what they do. And, they're just every day that goes by, we're trying to get better and improve the process of the plays that we're running and trying to get better with our scheme and our communication. And every time something comes up that's new, we talk about it. And we know that if it comes up again, we're going to hammer it the next time. So it's really important that's what you got to do during football season. You understand that when you start the season, it's not, you're not in mid-season form. That's why it's called mid-season form, because it takes time to work all these kinks out. There's a lot of things, and we got to get there. But the only way to get there is to work at it every day. And the only way to work it every day is to have good attitude, enthusiasm. Everyone show up to work today and to work to understand that this is a commitment we got to make to one another. And then you talk about the errors, and then you make them right, and then you go after it the next day and you try to build on it. So there's a lot of things we got to improve. We're definitely not where we want to be. And, we got to take our consistency and our dependability up a level, and we got to play winning football every day, every week, and every half. And when we're stretches where we're out of rhythm, we got to get our way back into rhythm, and we got to find the ball. We got to find a way to take the ball and move it down and score points. And our defense has done a great job for us, turning the ball over, keeping us in a lot of these games when we haven't rose to the occasion. And I think there's moments where we know as an offense, we're going to have to do that too. And that's going to be what our responsibility is.
Next will be Jenna Lane.
Hey, Tom, I can imagine just with your history, you've probably ruined the hopes and dreams of a lot of NFL fan bases over the years. Is that the one that you hear the most of? What are some of the other things you hear from these opposing fans? And I also got to know more about what Woodson has said to you over the years. I can imagine it probably still eats at him.
I know. So Charles and I were in the freshman locker room in Michigan together in 1995. And he was a Heisman Trophy when I was just some, schlep backup quarterback when he left at the time. So when he left, he went on to greatness right away as a first round pick. And it took a little while for me to develop. So, but just watching him develop into the type of player he was, obviously playing him against the Raiders and the Packers and back at the Raiders, he became one of the greatest defensive backs in the history of the NFL. So I think there's a lot of mutual admiration. I do certainly for him. And we've gotten closer over the years have gone by, and he lives in Orlando. He plays a lot of golf. He's into wine. I never thought Charles would be into wine from Fremont, Ohio, but now he's a wine drinker. Go figure. But he's a hell of a guy and just been a great friend for a long time. So, someone 25 years, and the kind of character he was and kind of player he was, he's a big part of that Raiders history and franchise. So, it's a pretty great relationship we've had over the years, and I'm happy to see his success off the field as well. So he's a great guy.
Next will be Omar Ruiz.
Hey, Tom, thanks for taking the time. I've heard you say over the years, obviously you want to be playing your best ball in December and into the playoffs. But here, as we stand in October, I think ultimately, wins and points and statistics will tell the ultimate story. But what can you take from practice that tells you that you are heading in that right direction and kind of making the progress that you want to be making at this point in the season?
I think a lot of it is, continued chemistry and attitude, and a lot of it's a feeling out there at practice, confidence. Are we improving? We're doing, you can measure yourself week to week, and how was this day compared to last Thursday? And how can we improve our process? Because every year is a little bit different. For me, it's been that way every year. You may think that go into the year, this is going to be the focal point of the offense. And then it's just not. For one reason, it's just not. And then you got to transition and change it. I think, Pratt, we've got to get everyone out there together, consistently at practice and improve through practice. So then it's not in the game. We can play with confidence and anticipations and executions at a higher level. Because a lot of people take their foot off the gas. And for me, I think that it's been important to put even more pressure on the gas pedal. It's just more. And every week is you empty the tank. And I don't know what it looks like on Monday. If you empty the tank on your preparation, through your, all your work that you're doing, and then you play the game on Sunday, Monday you wake up and you're exhausted. But you know what? You got to just ramp it back up Monday, Tuesday, and you got to fill the tank. You got to be ready for Wednesday, and you got to empty the tank again that week. And then there's no shortcut, and it's a long year. And that's where mental toughness comes into play. Guys are very physically tough. There's no doubt about it. Mental toughness is a very important part of football, because this is a marathon. This isn't, you don't wake up in week 7 or 8 and be like, man, I feel so fresh. Let's just, this is a piece of cake. And that's not, NFL football is just not like that. It's demolition derby out there. And a lot of guys, a lot of bumps and bruising, and it's less sleep, and then it's travel, and then it's frustration for different things. You lose a game, you're frustrated. You don't play as well as you're capable of playing, you're frustrated. You got to deal with those emotions. So there's a constant challenge in there, and everyone's got to find the way that they deal with that the best. But you got to embrace that about yourself, and then be open about that with your teammates, so that when you come in, you accept the coaching. You understand the responsibility you have as a player to your teammates, and you try to make it better every day. And when players see your commitment to it, they believe in you. And even if it doesn't go right, they still believe that you care enough to make the commitment to make it better. I think that's very important too.
We have time for 2 more. First, we'll go to Steve Isbitz.
Tom, having a lot of night games represents a real change for many of your teammates. Are there any different keys to readiness for a night game that you've stressed to them, especially on a road game?
Well, I think there's a lot of different routines, and again, we played. You play all the standard games. The night games, I think those are always fun for everybody. I mean, I certainly enjoy it, because you kind of know, when you're an NFL player and you play a Sunday game at 1 or 4, and then you see that Sunday night football game. I'm sure that's on most guys' TV. It's Sunday at 4 o'clock, because you're, Sunday at 8 o'clock, you're home, and your day's over and you got TV on. So when you're playing Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, it's a very cool occasion. You're the team playing. A lot of players are watching you, and you want to go out there and you want to perform well on the biggest stage. You see what you're made of, in these primetime, games where there's a lot of focus and attention. And we got to bring, when we're going on the road, especially, we got to bring, our very best. And usually you go and you could bring the group you got, and you got to go to an opposing stadium, and they got 70,000 fans plus their team, and you got your team. And, it's a little bit different this year, but, we got to win on the road. And, we've had 3 opportunities. We're 1 for 3, and we got to get 2 for 4. And it's a tough place to play. And Saints had a tough time there. Buffalo played good and beat them there. But they want to play well too, and their goals are ahead of them. So we got one more day to prepare, and then more mental preparation, and then we got to get ready to go.
Last question will be from Scott Reynolds.
Hi, Tom. You had a nice post-game exchange with Aaron Rodgers, and the same with Drew in week 1, and even Justin Herbert after the Chargers game. Is there a reason why you didn't seek Nick Foles out after the Bears game and headed for the locker room? There's been some folks wondering about that, and I want to see if you could clear that up.
I didn't even think about that. So I think Nick Foles is a hell of a player and a Super Bowl champ, and I don't know one reason or another why I wouldn't do that. But I don't know. Sometimes I've run off the field. Sometimes I haven't. Sometimes if I have a personal relationship, like I have with Drew and Justin and Aaron over the years, I don't know. I don't think it's anything in particular other than I have great admiration for Nick, and he's a hell of a player. They're off to a great start.
All right, that's all we have time for.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
the time.